Hey drivers, welcome back to another one. This sim just keeps getting better. With the addition of some of the new cars, it's starting to feel like a completely different experience every time you jump in. But I'll be honest, when I first came over from Dirt Rally 2.0 into Assetto Corsa Rally, something felt off. I don't know if you experienced this too, but the wheel effects and force feedback just felt light. Almost disconnected, like I wasn't getting the full story from the car. And because of that, I wasn't enjoying the sim the way I saw so many others enjoying it. So I did what most of us would do. I started looking up settings. But here's the problem. Most of the setups out there are built around more powerful, expensive dark drive wheels. Wheels that have way more headroom to crank things up. In the Moza R3, it's different. It's more limited on paper, but that doesn't mean it can't feel incredible. So I kept experimenting, tweaking, testing, going back out, changing one thing at a time, and I think I finally landed on something that actually brings this sim to life, at least for me. Now, I actually enjoy the experience the way I thought I would from the start. So let me show you what I did. Let's get into it. Okay drivers, so we're in the Pit House software for Moza. This is the 1.3.8.34 release version, if you're wondering. Over here on the right is where I made the most changes in settings. So we have the natural dampening, we'll start with that. I moved it all the way up to 60%. The Moza R3 wheel only puts out around 4 Newton meters of force, somewhere give or take, and it's not a lot. So you need as much as you can to get that resistance in the sim title. For some reason, in AC Rally, compared to other sims, it just feels extremely light with the default settings. So you have to change these things if you want to get the most out of it. Especially coming from Dirt Rally 2, it felt great, and I was wondering like, why can't I feel that in this title? It's supposed to be more realistic, it's supposed to feel good, and it just had no resistance. It felt like I wasn't even driving the car at all. So all these settings should help give that back to it if you're using this wheelbase. Also keep in mind, I am using a 13-inch wheel mod that you can see in one of my recent videos. That increases the circumference of the wheel, which gives me more leverage. So even more so, I need more resistance to get the feel that I'm going after. So basically, a little bit more detail about natural dampening. The higher you go, the heavier and the smoother the wheel will feel. The lower you go, the lighter and more twitchy it's going to feel. So next up, we got natural friction. This I also moved up. I moved this all the way up to 70%. So what it does is it adds constant drag feeling like rubber parts. So that is something that Gamer Muscle is always talking about, feeling the edge of grip, feeling something through the tires. I'm just joking around about him anyway, but this will probably be the settings to mess with the most, to play around with that. I'm sure he has plenty, but it doesn't meet his liking. But for me, 70% helped me feel the tires. It helped me feel that edge of grip a little bit better. It worked out well for me, so maybe it'll work out well for you. So a little bit of explanation about this. The higher you go with it, the grittier or more planted it's going to feel. And the lower you feel, the more free spinning the tires are going to feel. So now going on to natural inertia. I have it all the way up to 450%. And you're probably like, what? That's nuts. That's crazy. That's horrible. What are you doing? Well, I don't know. It worked out for me. Moving that all the way up. Essentially what this does is the higher you go equals slower to start or stop turning. And then the lower you go, it equals to snappy or more responsive behavior. So essentially I just moved this all the way up to 450%. It felt so much better for some reason. I think you might want to play around this yourself. You can dial this all the way down to half of what I have here, and you'll probably still find something that you like. But this is what really helped for me. Mess around with this, your mileage may vary. Then we got wheel spring strength. So wheel spring strength, this was also something very important to me. It's kind of looked down upon by most direct drive wheels to even mess around with the setting, because it's kind of designed for more gear driven wheels, and I'm using a direct drive wheel, but it's extremely weak. And what this does is it returns the wheel to center. So it's an artificial effect actually. So you may not want this on at all. You can try turning this off, but for me, for some reason with this title, going up to 40% with this wheel combination, this wheelbase, it just feels right. I can't explain it, but you can play around with leaving it between 40 or 0%. Leaving it off entirely is entirely okay, but I felt as soon as I bumped it up to around 35, 40, it started feeling a lot better. Okay, so then we got some other settings. All of these below I have not touched, so these are all default settings. So I'm just gonna skip over to the left-hand side here. I did adjust, well in the middle here, I did adjust the maximum wheel speed. So make sure you turn this up a little bit. I noticed that with this wheel, it tends to move a little slower in this title. So bumping it up to 120% made it feel a lot more realistic with how fast the wheel turns. And then on the left hand side, definitely make sure your maximum steering angle is set to 540. That's what works for these cars. I think you'll find that to be a lot more accurate and feel more like what you expect. So yeah, these are my settings inside the Moza Pit House software. And now we're going to jump over to the sim. Okay, so now we're inside the sim itself. If you go to settings and then inputs and then force feedback up here, you'll get to this menu. Alright, so first off we have the gain. The gain, I set it all the way up to 148. It's the overall strength of the force feedback from the game. So what I should feel with the higher forces, a heavier wheel, more detail. Too high, you're going to start getting clipping. So keep that in mind. The higher you go in this Moza R3 wheel, it's going to start clipping. Essentially, it's kind of like sound. Think about when you're recording audio. You can clip with that. You can do just the same with this. So be sure that you just keep it down. You can play around with it, go higher, but if you start feeling that you're not getting as much detail from the rolled surface, you're clipping. So just go right back down. I found 148 to work really well for me. It still has the detail I want, and it still has the resistance that I want. On to minimum force. Since I already played with that in the Moza Pit House software, I left that at 0. Then we have the damper as well. This also we changed in Moza Pit House software, so I left this at 0 as well. Steering lock set to 540. We set that in the Moza Pit House software, but left that there here. So then we got steering lock. I set that to 540. That matches up with what we have in the Moza Pit House software. And then down here you'll notice that we have advanced force feedback gain. So unless you have something like the new Logitech G923, and I think there's another wheel out there that has these weird it vibrates the wheel and you kind of feel the engine humming and that sort of thing. If you don't have that, you're not going to get much benefit out of using this. So I just leave that at 100%. That's where it defaults to. And that's pretty much the settings. So I hope you guys enjoyed these settings. It made the sim so much more enjoyable for me. Please let me know in the comments what settings you changed and what felt best for you, because I'm still playing around with this. And as we keep getting more updates, obviously we're going to have to keep adjusting these things because they're going to be adjusting the way the force feedback feels as well. Before you head out, if you're serious about getting faster and actually understanding what you're feeling through the wheel, I put everything I've learned into my new book, The Standard of Driving, a sim racing guide to control, consistency, and speed. It's built for drivers like us, whether you're in rally sims like this one or road racing sims. It all applies. It breaks down how to practice with purpose, not just turn laps. You can go grab it now at drivestandardbrand.com. And as always, guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. That also helps me know what to do and what not to make. And I'll leave you with that. Drive safe and save it for the track.